If I can do it, then so can you. It doesn't make sense if someone who hates to dance, today, if hate energy comes, I immediately turn it into hate hating, makes this action an inseparable part of his life routine. That you won't be able to do it as well. Then so can you. For me, you are definitely on the scale. After all, the scale is between hating dancing and loving it to the core. And I started at the very bottom and reached the top. Just believe in it first, because before you believe in yourself and your ability to do something, no one will believe in you or for you. No? Well, except the creator of the world, of course. My personal story. Do you see him there? This is me at the age of 13. Yes, yes, chubby, insecure, and generally ashamed of everything that is not his abilities in front of computer games. I was always the shy one in class when it came to dancing. I was chubby kid who was ashamed of his body, so of course of moving it in front of everyone. Until one day in South America, just boom! It blew up in my face. You have nothing to look for there in the nightlife or even half of the day life if you don't like to dance. It is such a strong and big part of their culture, the freedom reflected by most of the locals, and it is simply part of the culture. A part so strong that it even cracked me up. And I suddenly danced and danced there almost everywhere. It's not like I was some great dancer now, but there, for the first time in my life, not only that I've stopped hating dancing, but I even started to love it. When I returned to Israel, I came back with a new love for music and moving my body. The music tuned into the trance world, a world that, in retrospect, turned out to be a huge, even infinite world. But there were still no hats, was part of the endless hat dance. The more I chased the trance music, the more the desire to continue traveling the world grew, and I found myself flying to India. I landed without my mochila, probably for security reasons that delayed its arrival to mine. Well, that obligated me in the first days to buy clothes, something to wear in between, until the mochila arrived, of course. I found myself in the heat of Goa in India buying a tremendous hat like no other. A hat that simply the main thing about it was that he did not stop reminding me of the forbidden military Lesser thing, which is come from the word Sarsap, the guy in charge of the military equipment in the small units. So I bought it with the cloth, of course. I already need it because the bag still had 2 more days left to arrive. If it will arrive, you never know. Luckily, it finally did. And all of the clothes I bought, between them, the only thing that was very important for me to keep was, of course, the hat. During these days, without my mochila, me and the hat became very close friends. All day I was walking around Arambol in Goa playing with the hat and doing this thing that you're not supposed to in the army, but this is Goa now. At that time there was also festivals, parties at the hilltop of Goa, and of course it was playing trance music. I really wanted to be at Asterix concert, who at the time barely played in Israel, and I saw a dream opportunity to come true by participating at one of the parties, of course, not the one that Asterix played because he had problems entering India due to visa cycle, which would have sounded like nonsense because he had already played in India before, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that not everything goes according to your plan. Something happened and I found myself not only playing with my hat, but actually dancing with it. It was an experience I will never forget to this day. Hours of me dancing and discovering a world through the infinite possible movements of the hat dance. I remember that I bought two more hats like the one that I had bought at the beginning of my journey in India, which unfortunately are unavailable here in Israel. Because this unclear raw material from which it was made is not to be found here. In my opinion, it was from hemp, which can explain why. Not that I'm worried, because there are a lot of hats here and there really isn't a shortage. When I returned to Israel and before the coronavirus, 3 years or so, I started going out on an almost daily basis in the nightlife of Tel Aviv, with of course more than one type of hat for the very least, in order to enjoy and become professional. Those days out made sure I'll always have a new set. After all, the environment contains different people every time, different music, and different artists that play different times if the same DJ played. Every day brought a different and new kind of experience to remember and develop from. Today, I see in hat dancing a feeling of liberation, a prayer above all else. I don't know how to define it because of the fact that every time it surprises even me after many hat dances, which makes it even more of the desire I have to pass it on. The feedbacks I receive from the environment. I will never forget how someone at the ZNA festival in Portugal told me that he had been to hundreds of festivals and events, and he said that he had never seen anything so impressive. He also gave a long list of the names of festivals that I know of, which made me clear that this guy seen some stuff in his life that can be a part of this dancing community. And of course, from the feedbacks, they make fun of you every time that you call me crazy in Hebrew, which is a slang for something that is like a phenomenal or something that is impressive. And I have to correct you to psychopath, which is, well, not the medical term, but the abstraction behind the word, which is a psycho and a path in English, which means that I walk my path. For some, it may seem as a psycho one. Those things made me, among the other things, to be motivated to create this digital service. Because I don't believe in something good that should stop and serve only one person. I truly believe that if good can grow and spread, then we must make sure that it grows and spread and not hold or be held in one spot. I can only hope I will be able to pass it on to you, and that you will be able to receive it, because with a hand on my heart, it's a feeling of liberation that I know nothing like. The movements in relation to the form of infinity. It was agreed that this is the shape that marks infinity. So where does this actually meet us in hat dancing? Look, the human body is limited in its movements, and so is the hat. If we want to dance infinitely with the heads, then half of the form is us, and the other half of the infinity is the head. Only together there is no limit. You can argue if you really want to, but I don't do the V on power, because this is what it is in Hebrew, argue. V kuach, V koach, koach is force, V is V, with no one no more. So as I said, together it's not only that it's endless, but together it's never ending. Every hat is a world. Each hat is a world. It is like a new dancing partner. He or she has their own moves and dance abilities. I advise you not to stick to one hat already during the initial practice when we come to it. On the contrary, the more we use different hats, the more we will learn new moves and understand what is the most fun for us in the hats themselves. Is it the weight, the size, the raw material the hat is made of, the hardness, the shape, the finish, and more? It really doesn't end, as one who have used more than one hat. My music. An integral part of the process, if not the biggest, I don't know if it's that or the ability to be present in the moment to this day, is the music. I evolved as a child from the Hakeves HaShishasar, which is the 16th flamb, music by Israeli artists who are a genre in itself, to Eminem's rap and to the mainstream of Hardwell and David Guetta, and finally I've evolved to trance music, which I listen to from glitch to high-tech and psycho, for what it matters. Something about this music makes me personally feel the most free and in being, even without the need for anything besides time. I admit that in my nightlife adventures, most of the music was techno and house, but there was also trance. The trance from being infinite challenges the brain endlessly and in an interesting way, while the techno puts the body into a trance faster than the trance music itself. There is no way to explain to you in words what the apple tastes like. As I was once taught to say, what I'm trying to say is the magic of dancing with hats is not exclusive to trance only. Even though trance is my personal best. Your music. As I already said, probably the music is the main part of the process. Therefore, your music is the most important to your process. I really don't need you to have to listen and dance to trance music just because I find myself enjoying it more than anything. Nah. The whole beauty is that you are on the road enjoying your music. I show you not only how possible it is, but also how satisfying it is to dance with hats. In the most unexpected genres and songs for short moments just to illustrate a point and not to infringe copyrights.
Hello, Cassette. Has been
The feeling of meditation made possible. I don't know how old you are or at what stage in life this digital service caught your attention, but one of the things that I personally had the most difficulties with and continue to have difficulty with is practicing meditation in peace. Just like that. Sit with your eyes closed and do Om. Om. With myself quietly at ease is a challenge for me. But after quite a number of books I've read and heard in the subject, experiences from my friends, and my personal cases in the field of meditation, it is clear to me the importance of meditation. It was first time I felt meditating, which made peaceful meditation to me possible when I had danced. That's one of the main reasons that it burns in me to share the feeling behind the head dancing. The meditation and the gate that opens to this world of sitting peacefully and being in meditation, not the topic of this digital service, just another good reason to start. I will share with you that some of the most constructive and positively shaping thoughts that occur to me happen during the head dancing. There are several reasons for this that we won't go into right now. But the main one is that if you are not in the moment and present, you are most likely going to drop some head or heads on the floor, and for not being present reason. Now, one of the principles in learning from the infinite pool of movements is that if you haven't dropped heads, then you haven't really gotten into it all the way in. I know it will soon sound a bit self-contradictory, but you can't really understand the whole subject before you really devote yourself. Suddenly thinking clearly while head dancing will make you live the music and the moment like you've never lived before. I promise, if you really devote yourself to the head dance and dance. If they don't fall, something is wrong. If you are 5 years old, and even if you are 50 years old, it is time for the inner child in you to come out and enjoy being again. Yes, yes, now is the time. I urge you to send me the first video. I know I said that if you are not in the moment, the head will fall, but there are more reasons why the head falls. We will not talk about all. Some you'll get while devoting yourself, and that is because you allowed yourself to take risks. Literally. Look, the majority sees heads as a head. I claim that it is one of the most geniuses toys invented by humans. You just have to know how to use it for it to become a super toy. So one reason the head fell off is because a thought that you really loved as a part of the meditation that is forced on you summoned to your mind. While a second reason is that you allowed yourself to learn a new exercise, a new movement, a new axis of movement. I don't know what to call it exactly, but you will understand it while head dancing. While another is getting out of your comfort zone, which will also reveals to you a new cool movements. Feel free to ask someone who is watching you from the outside. All of those heads falls teaches you at times to come, because next time you will catch the head and it will no longer fall. Why? Because this time you have bent your back and the muscles have learned. Not only you will look 7 times cooler, you will also feel 7 times better, and your ability to flow and dance with heads will accelerate by 7 times. Those of you think that I used to know how to do something beyond this.
לא בפטריה ולא עם כובע נצחי.
שנייה, הוא גם אחרי כניסה. הוא גם אחרי כניסה, גם אני לא משהו. יואו!
לא רע.
Are wrong in a big way. It used to be all I knew. Even that I didn't know how to do with hats. And today, well, today you can see for yourself. Now it's your turn. In combination with all of the materials shared by me, go to the nearest park, go up to the roof, or find your comfortable and quiet corner. I recommend the most crowded and noisy one. There's no better practice than the deepest water, even though it is the most difficult at first. Not mandatory at all. And ignore them all, those around you. Not because they are not important, God forbids, because you are the most important in your story. Put on music without disturbing the environment, of course, and apply. I promise you that after a few moments, after you start, all of the background noises of the surroundings will disappear, and suddenly your music will take over. And the triangle of time, environment or set plus music will appear to you in a new way that you have never seen before. Be sure it was not easy at first to dance in a club alone with a goofy hat. But after the beginning, the number of experiences and stories goes from here to there. I would be happy if you would share with me your personal experiences from the digital service. I even head to you now how you can email us or contact in other form. And of course, if you loved enough, then also share it with your personal environment, legally of course. And who will give? At least this is the Hebrew way of saying that. And I will see more and more people enjoying this thing called gentleman juggling with an emphasis of dancing with hats in the world. I know what part it plays in my world. I hope you will experience it in your world as well. So whenever you are on the globe, have a nice rest of the week. I, Ariel Chaimovich, take my hat off to you for making it this far. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Hat.